and welcome to my rant about how the book series Terran Wanderer compares to its movie predecessor, The Black Cauldron. A quick note from my future English teacher, Miss Buster Singleton. I hope that I may do the written word versus the video reading response in this form rather than writing down my response. So for starters, this movie does not represent this book in any way, shape, or form, and I will rant about this and give reasons why. And this is my first point. Point 1. Plot is not accurately represented. The plot of the movie, The Black Cauldron, is about a boy named Terran who is taking care of a pig named Hen Wen, and is trying to stop Hen Wen from falling into the wrong hands, which it ends up doing anyway, into the hands of our villain, the Witch King, who doubles as Iran, who's the actual main villain in the book, but that doesn't matter. Who summons an undead army, which was already summoned in the book, but that also doesn't matter, because that's not what really makes me angry about this movie. He eventually finds Fulfuditor, Alanwi, and Gurgi on his travels to rescue Hen Wen. But I'm fine with all these things, except for one thing. This is all 5 of the books mashed together into one movie, so it should have sprinkles of all the books in the movie, but it only seems to have sprinkles of the first and second book. So, are there sprinkles of the third and fourth books? No, this is where I rate. I mean, they could have at least added something. In the fourth book, Terran goes on a journey to find his family and his parentage, and goes to many different people to figure out who he really is, and if he's like of kingly blood or just of regular, just farmer born. But they could have just added some little conversation between him and Alanwi to explain this out. And also, where is Gwydion? But I'll talk about that later. Point 2. Characters are not accurately represented. One of the key plot points in this book series is how Terran grows up and becomes wiser and smarter as he progresses through the books. This can be represented in the Scout Law, as he becomes more trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, and brave, clean, and reverent throughout the book, in many examples that I can't quite explain right now. But in the book, there's almost no change at all from beginning. In the movie, there's almost no change at all from beginning to end. He starts out as an arrogant brat and stays an arrogant brat. And that takes away from the key plot points in this book and what really makes Terran a crucial character and destroys a huge chunk of this book. Also, the character Alanwi is portrayed as a damsel in distress rather than a comedic and very witty character, and probably one of the strongest female characters, in my opinion, to lay a foot in books. Also, a lot of other characters aren't really represented very well either, like Gurgi and Fulfuditor, as you'll see on the right, aren't really portrayed very well, and the bad guy is just no, and we'll talk about that in our next point. Point 3. Villain is awful. The villain in the movie The Black Cauldron is the Horned King, but for the sake of this rant, he is also going to double as Iran, the main villain in the original series. He sends out beings to do his work, and also has a sidekick who I don't really know what the thing's name is, but wasn't in the original book. But hey, I guess I'm cool with that? I don't know, guess I am. But anyway, besides all that, and besides that he does some pretty cool stuff, I guess. He's talked about so much in the book and everything. The movie, he doesn't really do anything. In the actual book series, in the 5th book, we find out that he's been raising like a huge army to go and destroy Prydain. It's really scary. And in the 1st book, we find out that he sent his henchman, the Horned King, to go and attack people. You might be wondering why I have a rage thing here. Well, it's because Gwydion, an important character to the plot, who is a son of Dawn in the book, and who killed the Horned King, and who used Derwin, the fire weapon, to basically help defend Prydain against Iran, and eventually help to defeat him, is not mentioned in the movie at all. Not even mentioned. Nothing is said about him. He's not there. Just nothing. It's a disgrace to this movie series, and makes this movie disgraceful. Anyway, that was my rant on the Black Cauldron movie. As you can tell, I hate it with a fiery passion, but that's okay. There are a couple of things that I didn't get to mention. In the movie, Fluffuditor's heart actually does snap whenever he lies, which is part of the book, so, I mean, that's cool, that's what I want. But the movie also doesn't have any of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th books, and Disney won't be coming out with any more of them. The book is kind of graphic, though, including many battle scenes with a lot of deaths and wounds and things, but still a very, very good book. So to my future English teacher, Miss Buster Singleton, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sorry that I probably didn't get to cover a lot of the actual plot of the book I was reading, which was the 4th book in this series, Terran Wanderer. I know it might have not been enough, but there's not really a lot to compare it to the movie. I really wanted to do this particular response because the movie was horrendous and it needed to have justice to how awful it was. And I was able to, I think, give a pretty good representation of how it compares to the book and how it does not even come close to being as good as the book is. We'll say the 4th book, all the books in the series are very, very good. The 4th book is about how the main character, Terran, goes on a journey to find his parentage. As I said in my rant, the movie doesn't even have like a scene about his parentage or anything talking about that. It just kind of glosses over that and never talks about it at all. Terran could have had some conversation with Fluffuditor or Elanwi or Gurgi or something to just snuff the 4th book in there. They could have done something with like royalty and stuff for the 3rd book. I don't want to spoil anything else for that. But they could have done something to sprinkle those things in there, and that would have probably made it more enjoyable for readers of the actual series, and they might have made the actual movie a bit better. I know this movie was made in a time where Disney was kind of experimenting with different, I guess, ideas and stuff that they were doing, but it's just a disgrace to Terran Wanderer, and they should have just picked another book rather than disgrace this beautiful book series by Lloyd Alexander, who also does have a double letter in his first name. Quite weird. Hope you enjoyed that, Miss Buster Singleton. I hope that was enough. I hope I did that response justice. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you this year. Bye.
The building is on fire, fire. The building is on fire, fire. I said, no, what? I got my 3 kids and we bounce, out, bounce, out. I said, hey, we ain't gonna be in no fire.